have been for the last, um, we've been going backwards the last several years. Back in 2019, we were just a little over 2,200 members. And as of the end of 2025, we're about 1,753, I believe. So the good news is we're shrinking at a slower pace. So if we were a business and we lost $43,000 last year, we only lost $3,000 this year. So we're definitely, the trend is changing, and hopefully at the end of Niren's year, it will be a plus, and I have every confidence that it will. But I was talking to Niren the other night, and one of the things that hit me, and I'm sorry that I didn't think about this in the previous years, is I would like to make all of the membership chairs, all the presidents, all the leaders, subject matter experts on membership. It's not that difficult to do, but what I have found in visiting clubs and talking to people, and I know that I've been guilty of this over the years, go to a meeting, get to my car, start making calls, and then I kind of forget about Rotary till next week. Obviously, you're in leadership positions, so you don't have the luxury of doing that. But we got to get you, me, and our members to keep membership top of mind. Whatever it is you're doing, a chamber mix or another, just a show of hands, how many of you are involved with another nonprofit besides Rotary? Yeah, that's Rotarians for you. I know very few Rotarians that are only involved with Rotary, so congratulations on that. So probably there might be some people in those organizations that could make great Rotarians. I also understand that we do have competition, family, careers, friends, church, other service organizations, and that all important sleep. So we do need to, have that life balance. I know sometimes that gets overused, but my ask to you is to keep Rotary, top of mind, because there are a lot of good people in our communities that are Rotarians and they just don't know it yet. Okay. So another thing that I want to talk to you about, I just want to get this real quick, is not only are you, when you're inviting somebody to a club, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts of that in a bit here, but think about this. Niren, who sponsored you to become a Rotarian?
Well, I was introduced to Rotary by a Rotary club that asked me to speak. It was a Rotary Club of Covina. They asked me to join their club, and I said, well, I live in Riverside. So they said, oh, no problem. And they connected me with my club, the Rotary Club of Riverside Sunrise, and I joined there.
Okay, so let's go. How many years was that?
That was 13 years ago.
Okay, so 13 years ago, when you were being inducted in that club, how many people, including you, thought that you'd be district governor today?
Zero.
Hey, you see where I'm going with this?
Zero, including
Don't
me.
not only think of bringing in a new member, think about bringing in a passionate leader who, how cool would you feel if, like, I brought Niren in and now he's a district governor? I want you guys to really do a deep dive on that kind of thinking. And boy, that person would make, you don't have to start at district governor, but this person at some point is going to make a great board member for our club. This person is going to make a great president for our club, a staff member for the district. So please, keep that in mind. Now,
Hey,
the other side of the coin is I've seen some names. I was in DAC-DB yesterday, and I recognized some names, and I said, "Oh my God, that person's only been a Rotarian for about 3 hours, and they're already president." So, we have kind of a bad habit of doing that. I'm not pointing any fingers, but we can't overwhelm new members like that. We just can't. You need to give them an opportunity to learn about Rotary, learn about what we do, learn about the culture of your club before we make them a president, or spend a ton of time giving them the training so that they can be a successful president. Don't set them up for failure, because we've all seen it.
Hey, Al, while you take a drink, one of the things I wanted to point out that really one of the key elements of my being in Rotary is number one, that Rotary Club of Covina asked me to join their Rotary Club. And then number two, when I said, hey, I live in Riverside, then they connected me with a club in Riverside. So they had two opportunities to drop the ball, either not ask me or not refer me to a club in my hometown.
100%. I was going to say, I was talking to somebody about that just the other day, but it was you. You know, it's true because sometimes we might be a little selfish. I've learned that with being membership chair. I get the leads and it says Temecula, and right away I want to default to my club. But I call them and say what works best for you, and sometimes sunrise works better for them. Sometimes the evening works better for them. This last gentleman that I referred to, Esther, he said, no, I want to join a lunch club. So we do need to do that. But on that same note, I just emailed a woman today who wanted to join in Indio, and it kind of sounded like she wanted to join the club. It meets at noon at Fantasy Springs. So I sent her the info. They contacted her. Yeah, Dennis was nice enough to contact her. And then she said, thanks, but no thanks. I need to do a morning club. So that's okay. So I sent her another email, got her squared away, and just 10 minutes before we got going, the president, his name slips my mind, emailed her, invited her to their next meeting. So that's just all the moving parts working. That's what we need. And if, it's not the end of the world if they don't join their club. It's the end of the world if they don't join Rotary. By the way, Mandy, I love your background. Is that Hobbytown? Do you sell remote control cars? Oh, that's okay. You're on mute. I love remote control cars and drones. So in case Christmas comes around, you guys want to make it easier for you. Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about is when we invite somebody, we really need to make it a big deal. We ourselves need to know about Rotary, and we need to know about our club, and it shouldn't be a surprise when somebody shows up. So I invite somebody to my club. I am going to let Esther know that I am bringing a guest to my club that day, and I'm going to also reach out to obviously the membership club of that club, and then possibly just an old school guy, maybe a Dave Thompson, who's been in Rotary about as long as I. Hey, Dave, I've got Bill Barrett coming on Wednesday to the meeting. Can I introduce you to him? I'd like you to tell him about our club. I've already told him I want him to have your perspective. How does that make somebody feel? Wow, they're taking all this time to tell me about this club. They make me feel welcome. Not to mention it makes Dave feel good that I reached out to him to represent me regarding this guest. So we really need to make our guest feel comfortable. Even before that, before they set foot in the club, when you're inviting them, how much do you know about Rotary? My dad was a Rotarian. Fantastic. Actually, I was a Rotarian in Nevada. Oh, I know zilch about Rotary. So whatever that level of knowledge is, that's what you answer to. If they know zero, you tell them, we all know the 30-second elevator speech. We give them that, and then you tell them a little bit about our club. Let them know that each club runs autonomously, and some people do the program first, some people do the program after, some people eat, some people don't. The nightclubs, the night meetings, some people meet or drink, some don't. That's why I got kicked out of the morning club, because I walked in with that glass of wine and they said, beat it, buddy. You need to go join an evening club. So, we need to make it a good fit for them. And like Nyron was saying, if your club doesn't work for them, then let's try to find another club that works for them. And then another thing that came up in talking to Nyron yesterday, maybe they don't want to be in a club where they work. Maybe they want to be in an evening club where they're home, and then it's 5 minutes from their house to get home. So these are all things we really need to take into consideration. But my ask to you is, please do not take inviting a guest to Rotary lightly. what comes after they've come to your meeting and you said, thank you for coming, what did you think? And they left, what do we do? Anybody? Come on, guys, be brave.
I would say follow up with them and invite them to come back.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly it. We hope you enjoyed the meeting. We'd love to have you come back. You know, I can't make it next Wednesday. I make myself a little cliff note. Then I call them again the next week and hopefully the next week. You know, I've got one I'm working on that I've been working on for a couple of months, and she suddenly has ghosted me and she's treating me like I'm trying to sell a used car. And guess what? I'm chasing her like I'm trying to sell her a used car. I will stop calling her when she says, Al, I'm not interested. And she hasn't said that yet. You know, I've got excuses and reasons and probably very legit, but that's what it takes. We can't let anyone slip away that we made all the effort to get them to our club. We got them their lunch and then they just decide not to join, which also happens for whatever reason. I've had people not join because they thought it was BNI. Oh, I thought I was going to get a lot of business out of it. So you've got to obviously make that. This is, it'll happen probably, but it's not because you pushed it, not because you pushed it. But we're not BNI. We're not a networking group, and we all know that I'm preaching to the fires. Where can we source people to invite? Business meetings, seminars, businesses you do business with, / vendors, chambers of commerce's, JC's. Do all of your clubs belong to your local chamber of commerce? Ours does.
Greater Eastville does.
Okay. Yeah, good. If you're not, I highly recommend it, because one, when you belong to a chamber of commerce, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, you are in the know. You know everything that's going on in the city because the chamber is the first to know. Most chambers have a really good relationship with their city. And in our club, we have probably 9 members who are also board members of the chamber. Esther is our first vice chair of the board, and I'm just a garden variety board member. But it's cool, and they allow us at the end of the board meeting to make announcements. And guess what? Our golf tournament's coming up, and I will announce, and I'm sure Esther will too. Hey, and we will get some Chamber of Commerce people at our golf tournament. So not only are we looking at members, we're also possibly looking at memberships. I got to tell you a quick story about a guy that I was working on. He owns a Temecula Smog. Great guy. He's a chamber member, and I invited him to Rotary, and he came, gracious, and then he kind of ghosted me. I actually dropped in on him at his business because it's not too far from the dealership where I work. And he just said, Al, I just can't do it right now, but I'll make you a deal. Do you guys do anything for students? And I said, yeah, absolutely. He goes, I'll write you a check right now for $500 for however you want to use it towards helping students out. So I got his check. I'm driving away, and I shook my head, and I'm going, that guy just paid me $500 to go away, which was totally fine. So those kind of things happen to you. You just never know. Okay. I got on this list, and Nyron hit the nail on the head. We're talking about where can we source people. Recent program guest. That's a great one. Okay, here's another one. Vocations that are missing in your club. Did everybody remember classifications? When I first joined Rotary, I was in the jewelry business, and they wouldn't let any other jewelry businesses in. And I finally said, hey, I'm okay with it. Why would we not, why would we turn a member away? So we don't do that anymore, which I think is great. But going back to vocations, I want you to think about not only, educators, dentists, professionals, and like that, but they don't have to be white collar. Why can't blue collar people be Rotarians? You know, we've got a gentleman who I just love in our club. He's a wonderful guy. He's kind of goofy, and I've told him that to his face. He's fun, and he owns a solar company, and he comes in to cat it up, and just a great guy. He's a great member, just your average Joe blue collar guy, and I love him. And I'd like to see more of those guys in our clubs too. Electricians, plumbers, contractors, land surveyors, gardeners. I mean, there's so many blue collar people out there that we can reach out to that can be members. And I get with them those would probably be better. It might be hard for them to get away at lunch. If not, they're perfect for a morning or an evening club. So, and I know that Jeff likes to have a couple of beers, so I know he goes over to the evening club sometimes. But I mean, that's something I really want you guys to think about. Another one is attendees of your fundraisers and service projects. Okay. That is also someplace you can invite a prospective member. It doesn't have to be to your club meeting. You know, hey, we're doing a run through the vines. We're doing our golf tournament. We're doing our, feed the kids for Christmas. You can invite them to that too. To me, that's pretty cool because they see you in action. They see what you guys are all about, and they see the bonding, and all of a sudden you're bonding with them. How do you think that person feels when they do actually make it to a club? They're kind of like, yeah, I already know these people, or I'm acquainted with these people. It's not just, out of the blue. So think about, inviting people also to your service projects. And for crying out loud, please, 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 if they do come, send them a thank you card. They will absolutely, absolutely love it. Let's see if I got it. I had these made. You probably can't see it, but they're Rotary thank you cards. And I send them as often as I can. When I was programs chair, I used to send them to our speakers. But if somebody comes and you want to, I'm not saying you have to for a guest, but sure in the heck can hurt. Who gets mail anymore? Handwritten mail. So I think it's going to stand out. Yes, Julie.
Where did you have those made? Those are awesome. We were just talking about that last week.
I got these at the website. It's Perry's Creative Promotions, and he's certified. I got him at Pets last year in 23-24. He was there. He sells everything, and the website is www.pinthis.com.
Thank you. We were just.
Yeah,
those are awesome.
They're wonderful.
You can also
and I'm not so smart. Somebody sent me one a couple of years ago, and I loved it.
Al, you can also get those from Russell Hampton.
Yes.
They have a birthday cards, thank you cards, almost any kind of card you want.
Yeah.
They're pretty fast.
I got these because I wanted to support the guy. He set up his booth and the whole thing. But yeah, you can get them from Russell Hampton as well. Just get them.
Probably cheaper at Perry.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember what I paid, but they weren't too crazy. Okay.
We were talking as well. There you can get stickers, or you can, get the logo and make your own. That it would definitely be a lot less expensive.
Yeah,
and you've got creative people in our club that can do that.
Well, plenty of people can do that. Just make sure the Rotary police don't catch you, because it's got to be,
the seal. Yeah, with the official seal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't hear that.
Al, you had something to say?
Well, I was just going to go into the next segment, but that's okay. No, I don't wait to the
something
end.
To Al's thank you cards, or to any of you that use thank you cards.
Yeah.
You can create QR codes that'll take them to your website. So if you have a club website, printing a QR code, putting it on the back of that thank you card is just a way that they'll hit that, takes them right to your website, your club website. So if you have it, just another way, the great idea Al has, sending thank you, sending anything, but today's society, it's about QR codes. So just think about it. Anytime you do that,
awesome.
print that QR, stick it on, takes them to your website, to the district website. Just a way to keep promoting membership. That's it.
I'm
Thank
gonna,
you.
yeah, thank you so
I
much.
can I add with what Calvin was saying with the
Please.
QR codes?
Please.
So in addition to using the QR codes, so it goes with our topic as well. So I just got my new president business cards. I don't know if you can see them, but on the back, I put the areas of focus, a QR code that takes them directly to our membership application page. So it's right there on the business card and you can pass them out to anybody and they're easy to carry because they're small.
That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Cal, for mentioning. That is a great idea. That is perfect segue for going into resources. I spend a lot of time in myrotary.org. If you guys want to make a note, it's Rotary, no, not my Rotary, just rotary.org/membership. That will take you to pages and pages and pages of membership resources. Now, one of the things that I found, and I take this whenever we do a mixer or some kind of a promotion, there it is right there. That takes you to People of Action. Very generic, but it's a great tool. This isn't your club, but it's a great tool for getting them information, especially for that person I was mentioning earlier that did not have any knowledge of Rotary. Here's another resource that does not get talked about enough, and it's a great resource. And in fact, I'm going to back up a little bit. I was telling Nyron this. Whether you're in business or you work for someone else, you're struggling a little bit, somebody tells you about a consultant who's an SME in your business, you hire that consultant. Maybe you're paying that consultant $5,000 a month. And after a couple of months, you keep paying them, but you stop using them because you go back to your old habits. How many of you would do that? We do it in Rotary. A big portion of our dues that goes to international pays all these people in that big old building at one Rotary. And guess what they do? They put all these docs together that I'm showing you, and then very few of us actually use them. So please, you're paying for them, use them, okay? The other resource that I want to mention to you is this one. Anybody recognize this? I'd lie to you if I said I read it front to back every month, but I do read it. I do read it, and it's got some great information. It's a great place to steal ideas for service projects. And it's a great place to find out about, whether besides membership, because there's always something on membership, but there's also a lot of information, with foundation, what's going on in the rest of the world. And actually, on page 38, there's a gentleman listed as a new district governor, District 5330, Nyron McLean. He made the magazine. You gonna buy 10 copies for your mother? Like like the copy of the Rolling Stone?
At least a couple.
Congratulations. I think that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. So, but the Rotary magazine is a great resource. And another thing you can do, if you do have an office with a reception area, leave it out. Let people see that you're a Rotarian. Let them pick it up and see what Rotary is about. I'm sorry, guys. I had a big bowl of popcorn earlier. Okay.
Also, a good source for you to send in articles about your club or about experiences that you've had through Rotary. They're always looking for stories. And so if you have a good one to tell, send it into the Rotary magazine.
That's a great point. Last year at the Big Ten conference, Big West, they called it. There was a woman I met. This was when it was in San Diego. Super interesting woman. She was from Seattle, and she's an attorney. and her specialty is child human trafficking. So Judy and her and I got to talking about our trailer and what have you. Well, in March or April, I picked up my Rotary magazine and I said, that woman looks familiar. And it was that woman. I know this lady, Rita. I know this lady. So it was a great article on human trafficking that was sad, but it was really interesting. So yeah, if you guys are doing something cool, send it in. Okay,
Al,
go ahead.
Another great way of marketing Rotary is to wear your Rotary pin every day. Something simple. There you go.
Yeah. Now,
You got it
Esther, are you continuing Mr. Bob's I Spy around town, catching people not wearing their pin?
Yes.
Okay. So you
Even
want to
tonight he's there.
Would you like to share what that is?
Our celebration master or fine master goes to local events to, for example, the mixer tonight, the Temecula Chamber has a mixer, he'll be there. And any member who's not wearing a pin, we take a picture of them, and the following week or whenever we meet, they'll be paying $5 or they have to buy a pin at the club. But that's one way for us. We're having that.
So thank you, Esther.
Conversation piece. And for me, I decided because I cannot keep up with the pin, I bought myself earrings and a necklace.
Oh, look
that's easy for me to wear.
Look at you. Yeah. Yeah, I wear mine everywhere. Not because I want to get caught, because I'm proud of it. But so like the young kids say, we shame people at the meeting.
That's a nice way of doing it. And I tell you,
we have fun with it.
A year ago, February, I was going to visit some legislators up in Sacramento, and I was riding up in an elevator, and I had my Rotary pin on, and so a girl who was, those elevators aren't big, but the girl who was standing beside me looked down at me. She said, "Are you a member of Rotary?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I went to Ryla. It was the best week of my life." Right? Now, this is a lady who's in probably her mid-30s. She's working for one of the state senators up there. And I said, "Well, are you a Rotarian?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, why not?" She said, "I didn't know I could be." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You're the poster child. You're exactly what we're looking for."
Yeah.
So anyway, I took her card. I contacted the district governor-elect at the time, who was my classmate, and said, "Hey, I got a great person for you in Sacramento. She's a Ryla grad and a successful, legislative aide of some nature to whoever the senator was." But that's the kind of thing that without that pin, we would not have had that conversation.
That's amazing.
And I would not have plugged her in. So that pin, simple as it is, conversation starter.
It really is, and it's well recognized. Even though people say they don't know about Rotary, we used to say Rotary is the best kept secret. People do. It's a brand recognition, and it's a very strong brand. Another thing I wanted to touch on was we got a few minutes.
Which pin are you talking about? We got a million pins.
The basic Rotary pin.
The basic Rotary pin. Okay. All right.
Or any Rotary pin.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. It could be earrings. It could be a necklace, like you said. But you can't cheat. That's cheating. Okay. So one of the other things that I've been guilty of is I get this idea in my head about strategic planning, and I start this plan and I ask people, and then I did realize that if I go into myrotary.org, there is a complete strategic plan for clubs. Okay. There's also a designing your Rotary experience, and all this stuff will be sent to you guys. Okay. This is just real basic. This is get involved in ways that matter to you. Rotary offers benefits for people of all ages and backgrounds, from learning about the world to learning about yourself, so on and so forth. but it just has a ton of bullet items about making connections. And I know that that's one of the things Nyron's, it's important to him is those Rotary connections. Attend club meetings and events, create your My Rotary account, attend district meetings and events, get involved with clubs initiatives, visit another club, join a Rotary fellowship, join a Rotary action group, participate in Rotary friendship exchange, attend a project fair, attend convention, of course, and then, supporting your club. It's got pages and pages of stuff. And then it's got where, like I was telling you about sourcing people, and it's got a whole list of vocations and professions that you could think about inviting people to. Okay, switching gears here. We've got a couple of minutes. How many of your clubs have a corporate membership? Or like the company? Oh, look at that. That's awesome. I've had several people ask me about that. And I worked with Biren, I can't think of his last name, past president of the Corona Club. We put something together, and shame on me, reinventing the wheel. I found this, there's a whole guide on setting up a corporate membership. These are beautiful because anybody from the company can be a member. You can set the price whatever you want it to be. The only thing that I caution you with the corporate membership, because we have a few, is that people at the company think the other person's going, and then it ends up nobody's going. So we kind of have to stay on them and invite. Hey, are you coming to the meeting? But it's a great way to increase your membership, obviously. Besides that corporation also might be a sponsor for one of your events. So think about that. And then last but not, well, for tonight, it's last but not least. I can go on, for days on this stuff. But somebody else in the district that I had a little input on came up with a new member orientation, which was beautiful, excellent. But this is in myrotary.org. Introducing new members, everything from, getting them to set up their DACDB, their My Rotary account, getting them, try to donate to foundation, getting them scheduled for a craft talk, getting them involved in a community, getting them to come to a social event. So this really makes a person feel welcome, as we all want to feel. Do any of us know any members that left because they just were disengaged or they didn't feel welcome? I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it, and that's our own fault. We shot ourselves in the foot. Yeah, Sean.
Where was that a new membership thing? Was that put in was it from Rotary International, or was it somebody put it together?
No, it's from RI.
Okay, so
It's
there's
from
a
RI.
orientation in there. What was it?
Marilyn, would you mind shooting an email to everybody with the docs I sent?
Yeah, if you'll put your email in the chat, then I won't have to look them all up.
Oh, that'd be great. Or I can do that too.
And also, we're going to have a new member orientation training like this one in a couple of months. Bill Chase and I have put together an orientation model or sample, if you will. And so if you're wondering and struggling with how do you orient members, then you should tune into that workshop. I'm looking for the date right now, but I have too much paper on my desk.
The 27th?
That's it. And I know members who have left because they didn't know what Rotary was and nobody took the time to explain it to them. They just invited them to a meeting and expected them to be baptized in the Rotary water and join in enthusiastically. And then when they go to a meeting, we start throwing around these terms like RI and DG and TR, and it's like a code language. So if you don't give your new members an orientation, you're missing out. And some clubs call it a fireside chat. I've gotten away from that because most people no longer remember Franklin Roosevelt and fireside chats. So that term doesn't have a lot of meaning to them. Call it whatever you want, but do it.
Yeah.
So is this
Yeah,
a good
absolutely.
time to mention next level, Marilyn?
No, that's something totally different.
Okay.
Okay, so that I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover tonight. If anybody has any questions of me, if I don't know the answer, I will certainly look it up and get it to you.
Al, what else could you invite people to rather than a club meeting? Because many people don't get very excited about going to some kind of a meeting.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't do meetings. We all have the members that participate with dues and they participate with events. They just don't go to meetings, and I mean that's fine. But like I was saying earlier, if they're not a meeting person, then invite them to one of your fireside chats that we don't call fireside chats anymore. You can do a social event. You can invite them to a river cleanup, or you can invite them to a golf tournament. For crying out loud, invite them to your Christmas party. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can invite them to the demotion party. We actually had a guest at someone's demotion party a couple years ago. That somebody's relative was in town and they had a blast. So you can invite them anything Rotary related. It doesn't have to be a meeting. That's unfortunately just kind of the default. That's how our mind works. We could get them in the room, invite them to a meeting. But heck, yeah, invite them to a service project.
Is there a strategy for talking to people that show up at our events, our fundraisers?
You should have a club brochure. You should have a business card, something that they can take with them. And instead of just talking with them, have a handout for them.
Yeah, we
do
used to
that.
do an event years ago at Pechanga called the Taste of the World. And one year I was in charge of volunteers and I had the worker bees. I had 4 greeters and their job was to tell people about Rotary. And I thought that worked out pretty well because they had the info. You did a little training, but they were people that knew. One of them was Al Orr, actually, and talk about SMEs. So even if you have one person when you do an event, have somebody who's that greeter who's kind of working the room and giving information about Rotary. You always have to have somebody who's working the room. Someone's is even better.
Is it
Bye, guys.
Is it possible to order for these new member orientation booklets from RI itself?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Let me turn up my
Is
volume.
it possible to order this introduction to new members to Rotary and orientation guide from RI itself, or we just have to download it and print it?
Yeah, as far as I know, or email it. Yeah, but yeah, I don't. You know what? If you want to explore that a little bit more, go to the branding center in my Rotary. There might be a way to do it through the branding center.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Great question. Anything else?
Al, do you have a link you could send out for that new member orientation pamphlet that you showed us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes it's a little hard to navigate the RI website. And
Marilyn.
what I do,
Yeah, you know what?
what I do frequently is I just Google it.
Yeah. You know what, you guys, you have me, you have my contact information. So if there's something that you want, I'll be happy to get in there because I'll learn too. So I'll be happy to dig around for whatever it is you're looking for, and I'll be happy to send it to you.
What was the date again for the new the orientation?
I'm going to send it to you in an email.
Okay, thank you.
We have about 20 of these workshops and we're adding more all the time. They're all with the same time, that's 5 to 5:45, and they're all with the same Zoom link. And they will all be on the district website calendar. So watch for announcements because I send those out about 3 weeks in advance of the workshop. And they're all either on a Monday or a Wednesday because that conflicts least with club evening meetings. So be on the lookout. If it comes from me, open it. Don't just trash it. I know when you read it, I can tell. Now,
You
just
know, the other thing too, Myron, did you want to talk about a little bit what you, Judy and I are doing with membership and the little mini presentations we'll be doing throughout the year?
Well, I'll let you go on that because
Okay.
you're the chair, brother. So.
Okay. Well, Judy and I we're talking because yeah, I was just sharing a little bit of my frustration, about membership and getting people excited, and not talking about you guys because you're here, but it's the other 1,733 people that are not. I'd like to reach as many as people as we can, and I would like to, like I said at the beginning, have a good portion of the leadership become subject matter experts on membership. And the only way to do it is to talk about it, to keep it top of mind, to keep sharing the docs, the ease of finding the docs, the ease of using the docs, and the ease of putting them to use and finding some successes. And I think that's probably, I'll leave you with this. With anything, you got to have wins. So if you're putting some of these things that I'm talking about into practice and you see your membership start to grow, I mean that's what it's about. And that's my my job to help you guys do that. So like I said, if there's something you can't find, and well, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to try to dig it up or, get you an answer. Because I also, have resources with Zone and even at RI, because I'm one of those guys who just goes up the ladder and I just make a phone call and find out, and I'll be happy to do that. Because again, that's why they're there. It blew my mind. I actually got through to RI a couple of months ago on an expense report question. And the guy was so happy to hear from me. He's like, well, we don't normally hear from the clubs, but yeah, we're here. We'll answer whatever questions that we know. So please know that these folks are here to help us, including, our leadership here on the Zoom call and myself.
Well, I'd like to add one other thing. Number one, to thank Al for doing this and for really, and it's really Marilyn and Bill Chase in general, but this is the first of several things. We're trying to really provide significant education to everybody in the district. In the case of membership is not just the membership chair's responsibility or the president's responsibility or the AG's responsibility. It's every club member. But the only way they can participate is if they're informed, and that's what Al was referring to. So we want to make everybody, particularly leadership, but everybody is subject. There's no reason that I can't share my passion for Rotary with everybody, whether I'm standing in line at Stater Brothers or Starbucks or something else, right? There should be something different about me that makes people say, well, what does this organization belong to? What are you doing? Or we invite them to participate and they see us around town changing lives. But everybody in our club should be sharing their love of Rotary. And it should come naturally. And whether you're a salesperson or not, well, like Al and I were talking the other day, everybody's a salesperson. They don't think of themselves, right? But you have to sell every day to do something. So we're interested in making sure that all of our population, all of our fellow Rotarians are informed about all these subjects so they can be better Rotarians. So when the opportunity falls in your lap, and I'm standing in line in Stater Brothers next to Jerry, and Jerry says, hey, what is this pin you have? I should be able to tell her what Rotary is and how we're changing lives in the community. Right. So thank you, Al, for this, and Marilyn for putting out this series. You'll see a lot more. Get as many of your people to these, and Marilyn's actually working on a super secret other training program that we're doing, but we're trying to utilize education as well to bring people to your Rotary clubs. So she's working on some pretty creative concepts and opportunities to bring business people and other people to your Rotary clubs as a source of information and education. So we're trying to skin the cat from as many angles as possible, but I will tell you, Go out and talk. We cannot be the nicest people we know, as wonderful as talk. We cannot be the nicest people we know, as wonderful as all of you are, and I know you. But as wonderful as you are, you can't be the only nice person anywhere you find. So we need to go out and share this passion, this thing called Rotary. If we believe in it, let's make it happen.
Yep.
I found the date for the new member orientation training, and it's February the 2nd. But it sounds to me like you all might want to see that sooner.
I think so.
And I'll do some switching around if you want this before February.
Yeah, Dora's got
Yes.
some new people she wants to bring in, so we got to
Yeah.
rock and roll here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have 3 new members coming in
That's outstanding.
Highland.
You guys are rocking over there.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's great.
We lost our meeting place, but we're getting 3 new members.
That was a nice space, and that was a great meal too, by the way.
Yeah.
Look for this training in September. I'm going to bump some people a little bit later, and I will make sure that you all have the notice of the meeting.
Perfect.
Awesome, awesome,
That-
awesome.
Great, because our Polar Rotary Bear plunge is on February 2nd. So don't plan anything on that day, because I'm expecting to jump in the lake.
Be 120 degrees in the desert this week, so I can think about your polar plunge and cool off.
This isn't Ohio, people. How can you have a polar jump with no ice?
People have told me to go jump in the lake before, Jerry.
Literal.
Thank you all very much for signing on and particularly for participating. This was a great session. Thank you, Al. Great new ideas and resources for us. You have Al on your radar screen, so if you have any questions or need any follow-up, feel free to contact him. You also have my email address from what I've sent you, so feel free to contact me as well, and Nyron. So you all have a good rest of your evening, and I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's rock.